I'm Lucy Wilson.
And I'm Robert Wilson, and we're based here in the Scottish borders at Cowbog Farm. It's a mixed farm of 182 hectares with a pedigree herd of Hereford cattle, few sheep and mainly spring barley.
We run Wilson's Farm and Kitchen, which is primarily a food-based enterprise. We are very focused on the field to fork sort of movement, if you like, sort of showcasing our own produce, which is, mainly beef. We also have a large garden and a polytunnel. So we run food-based events where people dine either in our stable block or in the bothies, and they run year-round. We do all sorts of things like curry nights, field to fork tours, roast lunches. So, yeah.
Agritourism is a tourism offering based on a working farm, croft or estate. We went into it a few years ago.
I'm not sure that we necessarily chose to go into agritourism as such. We looked at diversifying because we wanted to find sort of an alternative source of income on the farm, and also at the time, because we had small children, we were looking for something that I could do from the farm rather than going out to a job.
I've always sort of farmed at home traditionally. It's always been a sort of bit of a bugbear that we send cattle away or grain away, and we don't sort of really know where it's gone. We know who we've sold it to and where it might end up, but we had no direct link with the consumer. So by doing this, you embellish what we've done for years in terms of the produce, but at least you get to talk directly to the consumer.
We really want to promote local produce and our own produce, and for people to really understand where their food comes from, and also how we're doing that on the farm, the sort of the way that we grow food. So it's worked really well that we can combine the farming and the producing food and with me cooking it.
The wee bothies are repurposed grain bins, or silos as some people call them, and I guess they started a bit of a lockdown project at COVID, and we wanted to create a space where people felt safe and comfortable when they came out of lockdown. So we put these up, the grain bins up, and they sit about 8 or 10 people, and people can come and enjoy a relaxing evening or lunch in them, and we serve them the produce from the farm. Lucy's prepared in the kitchen.
They're really they've been really popular, and they're very unique. I'm not sure that anyone else is doing this. People have really enjoyed them. They're really relaxing, and they worked really well last year when people were wanting to sort of mix in smaller groups, and through that they've sort of grown in popularity, and so we think they're going to work well going forward as well.
The growth in agritourism in the last couple of years has been phenomenal. I think it did start for people, years ago. There's always been holiday cottages on farms, and there've always been farm shops, but the recognition of it 2 years ago, when people, got out and a bit more in amongst or around the UK, to find out that Scotland offered it just as well as the rest of the world. It's a massive industry in the likes of Italy and Canada and America, and I think we took it for granted that it was just something, it was a farm holiday cottage rather than it was actually agritourism. So I think it's come together so well in the last 2 years. I think as well, look at what you've got on farm to start with. It doesn't have to be massive. You don't need to invest tens of thousands of pounds in a holiday cottage or in a farm shop. You can start small. You can start with guided farm walks with people that only cost your time. Everybody's got a story about their farm. Everybody's got knowledge that we take for granted about wildlife, and people are really keen to hear that story.
Definitely. I think also the big thing that we've learnt is that the things that we find really mundane and every day, like Robert said, that we don't think other people are going to be interested in, they are. So it's good. I think one of the other reasons that agritourism has become so popular in the last couple of years, that people were stuck, in their homes and people wanting to get out into the countryside. And I think the other thing is that, locally produced food. It was a good time for people. People were sitting at home. The thing that they had to look forward to was food and eating, and it's been a great platform in that respect for local producers to promote their goods and for people to become more aware of what's available locally.
I think that's so important, because there's so many myths out there about food from all sides, and in actual fact, agritourism offers a opportunity for people to get out and farm and learn a bit themselves.
The public are becoming more interested and more aware of where their food is coming from. We're part of a group called Go Rural. That's been really, really beneficial for us in terms of the advice that we've been given with the agritourism group that we're a part of, and really, really fantastic.
So Scottish Agritourism is a group that was sort of formalised a couple of years ago, and it was I guess it was as a result of the Monitor Farm project that was run fairly successfully for the second time on agritourism, and it's a member-led organisation, and if you are on a working farm or estate or a croft, then you can join if you have a tourism offering. It's a tremendous knowledge sharing hub, and it's one of the best things from a farming point of view that I've been involved in as a collaborative group. Generally farmers, we don't talk that much about our problems or our successes, and it's great. It's a sounding post for any idea you have. There are some very well established members there in that group that you can ask advice of, and it's been hugely beneficial to us.
Yeah, definitely. And people are really willing to share advice with you and their stories, and on so many different things, like, whether it's staffing or, environmental health, anything really. Succession has been a big one and very extensively covered. So it really has been a tremendous help to us, definitely. I think as farmers and as an agritourism business, one of the things that we really enjoy about running it is that we get to work from home, and we get to show people the farm, which we're really proud of, and we get to do what we love doing.
Yeah, and seeing our produce go from field to fork, and being able to share that story with people of how it's produced, why we're producing it on the land that we are. Hopefully when they leave any farm, or especially our farm, they can take away a wee bit of knowledge about the produce that's produced on Scottish farms, and look for it when they're in the shops in the future, or when they can travel to farm shops to find it as well.